Welcome, my name is Ian Petrie. I am a professional wedding and portrait photographer. Today I'm going to show you confetti cannons. Very good for using on events such as weddings. Rather than having your handheld confetti, you end up getting hands in shots, you know, when you get two lines and the bride and groom coming through, and then you get hands coming into shots which can hide the bride and groom's face. Whereas this option fires a lot of confetti all over. You just got to be mindful which way the wind's going and making sure you're directing the cannons into the wind, so then when the wind pulls it back, it's where you want it to be. Okay, there are some main things on it, and all you have to do is grab one hand here. You've got some arrows here, I'll show you a close-up in a minute. Another hand here, you twist it the opposite way to each other, a bit like a Chinese burn, if you're aware of the old school torture method that we used to do at school, and then it will just blow this up and it will go everywhere, which I'm going to show you in a moment. Now there are a couple different types. So you've got the standard type, like this one, which is not biodegradable, and then you get biodegradable versions like petals or tissue paper. I've moved over to biodegradable because then it covers every venue. Some venues don't mind which it is, some venues do mind. So it's always good to spend that little bit more and have the biodegradable versions, okay? So obviously after we've done this, I'm of course going to go and pick up everything off the floor so I don't leave it in the nature, because I don't want any animals actually eating it and things like that, okay? Let's show you some close-ups for you, okay? So, as you can see, you've got some arrows here. So you twist it and it blows out the top here, okay? Now a couple of notes to mention is make sure you don't point at anyone's head when you fire it, okay? I always use it as a little bit of a joke on a wedding, saying don't point at the bride and groom's head, but you really want your bride and groom in front, your wedding party around, and then perhaps two or three, one in each side and one behind, pointing just above the bride and groom if there's no wind, okay? Up like that, twist, get them, pull it down so it's behind, or put it behind the back, whatever it may be, so it's not in the shot, and then you can take shots, and you'll have plenty. You probably get 5, 10, 15 shots out of that before it all settles down, depending on the wind. Now of course, if the wind is blowing a particular way, for example if the wind's coming from the left to the right, you might want to have all your confetti cannons on the left hand side so it follows the wind. Alternatively, you can have it on the right firing into the wind, but depending on how strong the wind is, so then when you fire it across, it then comes back on again. I tend to either, if there's no wind, have one each side and one behind. If there is wind, I tend to have it firing into the wind, okay, depending on the strength of the wind, okay? So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you what it looks like, okay? Back in a minute. Okay, so we're ready to fire this. Now, the wind, not much here, I've got a big tree blocking a lot of it, but the wind is technically going slightly to the right, okay? So we should see it go up and round, so I'm going to fire it ever so slightly to the left hand side of me, okay? Count of 3, 1, 2, 3. How's that? So as you can imagine, if you had your bride and groom there, you would effectively have that covering them out. So obviously at the bride and groom in a big party, you'd be standing a lot further back than I was to this camera, but that will give you an idea of how it's going to cover them. Now if you've got 2 or 3 of these going off, you get a massive ray, lovely plume of the confetti cannons trickling down in the wind for you, giving you plenty of times to get those key shots for yourself. And you may only use 1 or 2 of those shots that you hand over to the bride and groom, but at least you've got plenty of choice to go. Not only that, is when it goes off, you'll get a lot of people going woo like this, which adds to the shots as well, because they're all happy, giggling, laughing. The only thing is, just be mindful if there are some very elderly couple there, just make sure that they're okay with loud bangs, because of course, as you heard, that is a fairly loud bang, Okay, we don't want anyone in having any heart attacks. I don't think it's loud enough to ever cause that issue, but I always like to add that in when I'm talking to people. It just shows that you care on the wedding, yeah? Well, if you do like this tutorial, please do leave us a comment, click the little notification bell and subscribe for future content. Now there are some rules, instructions of how to use it, and again this is for anyone over the age of 18. I do not give this to anyone under the age of 18 for safety measures, because those people under that sort of age tend to actually point it at people's heads and things like that. We need some sensible parties. We have to be sensible at occasions. The rest of the time we can be big children, because we all are. Alright, until then, I'll see you in the next video. Keep shooting, stay safe, take care, bye bye.